What's up everybody, I'm Dear Gamer. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're back to my Diablo 4 and I'm going to be sharing with you 16 tips I wish I knew before I started the game. These tips are going to, one, make sure you have an amazing experience and make sure you're informed so you go into the game saving yourself time and frustration that you normally wouldn't need to have. So my fan, without further ado, let's dive in. So first things first, early in the game, you have a lot of materials that you're always getting. So not going to be the main tip, but you can always go back to your camp. Even if you fight a monster and just drop stuff on the floor, you can just press down and it'll teleport you back to this place, which will allow you to go over here. So when it comes to money and when it comes to salvaging materials, until you get to level 50, you shouldn't have to worry about materials and like builds and stuff yet. But say you want to get that money, you need money to do things in the game. So rule of thumb, when it comes to selling your stuff, only sell the stuff that's in whites and stuff that's in blue rare. So in this situation, I'll share this, sell that, I'll sell this, I'll sell this. And so they sell for a good amount of change as well. You get a lot of materials while you're going through dungeons, so come through sell those. Then what I will do with the rest is you come over here and you'll salvage the rest. And why do you do that? So you have materials later on when it comes to making your builds and all the stuff you do need. You want to salvage all of these things afterwards, just like that. That's how I would approach it. So next, starting off earlier on in the game, don't worry about builds, because don't buy equipment, don't upgrade your equipment, don't do anything with your equipment, because what's going to happen is you're going to get a good weapon. You're going to be like, oh my God, it's amazing. Then 5 minutes later, you're going to get something way better and be like, damn, that is obsolete now. Including your legendaries. Don't get caught up in looking for legendaries earlier in the game. That's what I did. I got a legendary, I was super hyped, and just to realize that is not that good, because you're gonna get even better stuff. But what I would recommend focusing on earlier on is your ability. What abilities you're spending your points in, because regardless of what your gear looks like, this is how your playstyle is going to be impacted. I uploaded a build yesterday for my Shadow Rogue Flurry build. So if you want to check that out, you can. If you want some ideas how to go around building your set, but focus on having a plan around how you're going to build your character. For me, I'm using variable damage. So my first skill, it gives me put the enemy in variable state right away when I hit him with 2 blades. Then I get that extra damage. Then when the enemy is variable, I heal. And then when the enemy is variable and I hit, it extends my ability even more. You get the picture, and it kind of keeps on going across the board. Everything I have supports my overall ability. Down here we get a shadow at the end. Shadow, if I hit an enemy that's explosion, they get more variable as well. If you didn't know, variable, it gives you additional 20% damage increase on your build. So earlier on, don't worry about weapons, armor, etc. That stuff will come later, trust me, and I'll have a video for that when it's ready. But today, just focus on your ability and leveling your tree. So say you say, you know what, DG, I still want to know if my weapon is good. So let me tell you how you know if your items or weapon are good. First thing you want to do is you want to go into start system. You want to go over here. You want to go into options. You want to go into gameplay. Then you want to make sure these two are checked off. This is going to give you more information while you're playing. So when you get a piece of armor, you can easily identify the pros and the cons between the armor piece or the weapon that you're about to equip and the one that you had. So from there, what I will do is let's take a look at this piece right here. So this on the bottom half, it has dexterity 20, damage to chilled enemies 3.5, and you see the little comma parentheses. Within the parentheses, it tells me 18 to 24. This means that the lowest I can get as a roll on with this weapon, with this loadout, is 18, and the highest I can get is 24. And in this situation, I rolled a 20, so I'm kind of the lower half of it. So I wouldn't categorize this as a good build, good roll. If it was like 22, 23, 24, then yes, I would say yes, this is a good build, this is a good roll. I will keep that skill on the weapon, because later on in the game, you can swap out these abilities if you want. If you find a weak one, you can swap it for something else. You can keep rolling and rolling and rolling until you get something good, which is going to be later game. But you guys said you wanted to know, but just in case, keep that in mind for later game. You can roll all these skills. So look, going down as well. Damage to stun enemy, got 8.5, 8. The lowest is 7, highest is 10. Not that great. You can tell this weapon overall, I didn't get good rolls on it. Even my legendary skill, 26 out of 40. Not that great. But we're moving along, looking at some other things. It's still earlier on in our playthrough. So whenever there's a parentheses and it tells you the 2 abilities, you want to be on the higher number. That's how you know you got a good roll. So I told you I'm using a vulnerable build. How do you know if an enemy has the ability on it? So see this enemies over here, their name's in red, right? So to know my skill is taking effect, because it says if I hit him with 2 of my blades, they'll be vulnerable for 2 seconds. You see that? It's vulnerable. He just sees his purple, now it goes away. He's no longer vulnerable. So nope, no vulnerable right there. So when that enemy, I will get additional 20% attack damage on him as well. So if you see my build is focused around making sure everybody is vulnerable. It's a melee focused build. It does crazy damage and it's very, 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 very juicy. So that's how you would tell if you have a status effect on your enemy. Next, I will recommend getting very cozy over here and always having an elixir in your inventory and always drinking them. So if you look at the elixir, what does it say? Increase overpower, yeah, that we don't care about that. Most important thing is experience is increased by 5% for 30 minutes. And if you go over here, essentially every single one of these elixirs are gonna give you 5% increase in experience for 30 minutes. So just make sure, if there's some in here that do some good things like increase your dodge by 4% or your critical rate, yeah, those are all great for like farming and fighting and stuff. But at the bottom line, make sure you use an elixir, because every single session you're playing, you want to make sure you're getting experience increase. So you get 5% for 30 minutes. Always have them in your inventory. So while we're here, before I get to the potions, make sure you always pick up plants every single time you're exploring. Just like in every single game, the resources are important. In Monster Hunter, in this game, every game that's open world, you want to pick up the resources because you're going to need them in order to do a lot of good things. Next tip I want to say, don't forget you can upgrade your potion. So as you level up, your potion gets more potent. So if you see, I've already upgraded mine. If I'm already ready for the next level, because I continuously pick up materials as I'm playing through the game. Always, always, always pick up your materials as you're playing through, so you can always level up your potions to make sure you're not over chugging, because it's more potent. Next, I want to tell you, unlock your specializations early. This is a side quest you can do. I recommend doing it early. It does some pretty amazing things. So for instance, I'm using the rogue and I have combo points. So what combo points does is it increases the power of my core abilities, and based on how many basic attacks I do. If I do 3 basic attacks, I see on the bottom, you see the little 3 shields above my ability gauge. If I do 3 abilities, those 3 light up. The next hit, if it's one of my core skills like this, you can see if I have 1 point, extra 10% damage, 2 points, extra 20% damage, and 3 points, extra 30% damage for this ability. And it's for all of my core skills, 45% increased damage on my flurry. So as you can see, it's very, very beneficial. There's multiple options you can pick from, but for me, for rogue, I picked this one as the most useful out of the bunch. This guy, this guy have some relations. So imprinting is important, because what it does is allows you to add codex of power or aspects that you have in your inventory. This is later game stuff, but say you want to imprint. The cool thing about codex of power is codex of power you get from doing dungeons specific to your class. And you see these dungeons over here. If I do this one, I'll get a necromancer skill. So there's another tip. If you do the dungeons that are specified to your build, you don't have to do them all. So for me, I'm a rogue, so I go through, I see a rogue dungeon, I do it. Even if I'm not going to use that ability today, I might use it tomorrow or next week. Say I get a legendary that works well with that skill, then yeah, I'm gonna want to take advantage of it. So spend your time going through and doing the dungeons that make sense for your character. Exactly, this one, I want to go back and get this one to do my rogue. So now, after you got some imprints available to you, you can come over here and you can start imprinting them on your weapon. The problem is everything's all good, but make sure you don't imprint over your legendaries, because if you do, say you come over here and you put one of these in here and you change this, what you're gonna do is you are going to override the ability that it currently has on it. You can't have 2. You can only have 1 legendary aspect at a time. So make sure before you do this, this is what you want to do, because you're going to forfeit the skill that came on it standardly. I wouldn't say, another thing too, while you're here, don't extract your imprint early, because you get better weapons all the time, and it's kind of expensive to go through and imprint based on the things that you need. Say I want to do this. It's kind of expensive, not just in money, not that much, you can get money anywhere, but these materials on the right hand side, to get these, you have to salvage your rare materials, and you don't always get them every single time you salvage. So don't necessarily do it early, just wait, save it till later on. Right now I'm 34. I'm starting to dabble into imprinting on some of my gear that I get. Even me, I shouldn't be doing it, because of the fact I'm just gonna get way better stuff in the next dungeon I go into. Do your region rewards as you're progressing. Make sure you slow down to do them by getting waypoints, strongholds, side quests. Why? Because you get some pretty juicy things. You get extra skill point as a reward. You get an extra potion capacity as a reward. You get another extra skill point. You get max, Obols as a reward, which are amazing, because I'll show those in a second. Do your skill by exploring the world, and you will be benefited by making sure you get all kind of goodies. I would recommend doing every single event that you get to see across the board. One, yes, they give you good experience, they give you good drops, but they give you these points, which allows you to come over here and just purchase some items. And of course, I want to wait till I'm a higher level, but if I were to purchase this and you want to get the cheapest one available, which is a dagger, which is cool, because then if I get a legendary like I just did, and I want to keep the imprint that came on it, then I can just salvage that and keep the imprint. So this one says it deals 60% damage increase when you have a barrier active. So that kind of works, because if you notice over here, I have this ability that, where is it? This ability that damaging an elite enemy grants you a barrier absorbing up to 450 damage for 10 seconds. This effect happens every 30 seconds. So if I take off that score, just put this weapon on, I'm already benefiting, because I'm gonna have a barrier for a lot of times in the battle. And just like this, I got a legendary from this. So use this as a good way to get some gears or farm imprints that you need to put on your better stuff. I would say just be on the lookout for the Altars of Lilith. If you don't know where they are, there's a tons of interactive maps online where you can go through and kind of get them all. You want to get these because these give you permanent stat bonuses to your character. So I highly recommend spending some time going through and getting all of them if you want to just beef your character up for free. And just last but not least, but just be on the lookout, because a lot of your armor will give you free points and free ranks to some of your skills. So this one tells me I give 1 free rank to all subterfuge skills. So meaning all the skills in this category, I get 1 for free just by having that piece of equipment on. And it's cool because in some categories, say you already spent 5 points or the maximum points in a specific skill, you will be at 6 out of 5 or 7 out of 5 or 8 out of 5. So the proficiency is not capped at 5. It can go above that rank as well. So if you got some good armor that has some good skills, or you're re-rolling your armor, be on the lookout. Sometimes you might get some skills that you already have, which will make it even stronger. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys learned some things. This video is aimed to help those that are learning the game, starting the game. Maybe they played for a little while, but didn't know the most efficient way to do some things. That's what I'm here to do. So if you're new, make sure you subscribe. We'll have lots of Diablo floor content on our channel. Stay smooth, family. Until next time, dear gamers, signing out.